Love, baby. We're live. It's Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and it's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring, and the old man is Mr. P. And we're about to get on with that. If you're watching this now, that means that you're watching it after the event because our subscribers haven't turned up yet because this is a sneak. It's an ambush. I'm taking you by surprise. An ambush is a surprise attack on an unsuspecting enemy by a force lying in wait. And that's exactly what we're doing for Mr. P. Fire Live, here they come. Fire Live, you're first off the rank. Well done. I've got Leo Wanker, always here. James Carr, the 17th is getting close, my friend. Very close. And you've got some people sharing your journey who are from your platoon on this piece of paper right here. We've got Timmy Dowse. We've got Drew Curtis. We've got, what's his name? Tony Curtis. Just passed away. Kirk Douglas, sorry. Completely different. Sorry. AK-47. We've got Exo Challenge. We've got Josh. We've got Mike Ledge. We've got Kane all the way from Mackay or Mackay, depending on how you like to call it. I call it Mackay. Had some houses there, sold them for below build cost. Not real happy with it. We've got SL Imports. We've got Dave Stewart here. We've got Fugly. Hello, still loading in. That's all good. We've got Mitchell Taylor. We've got Ryan Connington. I'm sorry if I get your names wrong. My eyes are about as useful as the felt Muppet eyes. We've got Ed B here getting scammed at the moment over in the US. I don't know how they've achieved that, but I hope you catch your man, so to speak, Texas Warrior. We've got Stickman. Body issues there, it sounds like. We've got Bailey. Good afternoon, mate. First live stream. Great to have you here, Bailey. Great to have you here. I'll explain what the live streams are all about in a moment so you understand the context and why they're so important to amalgamate, create a context for the way we speak, because it is too easy when you're making productions for people to go, I don't actually know if he means that or whether he's selling that, whatever. So that's what this is about. Murad Bora, that's a pretty cool name. James Carr, you're going to be speaking about that list today, are you, mate? I will be, JK. Fire Live popping off to the uniform shop. The uniform shop. I've never heard of one of those. Howdy, says Will South. No problems there. South, I'm east side. That's not cerebral palsy. Yeet, yeet. Good to have you here, mate. Ed B is one of our stalwarts. He's one of the veteran. I think this is his channel as much as it is mine. I just do all the work for it. He turns up, mate. He got his presents downstairs. Haven't ever sent them to him. Ugly Kaz on the thumbnail. It should be you're not alone. Not your. Should be you're not alone. Not your. Piss off, Ugly. Aussie infantry, all right? Go easy. Neville Bartos, you a bloody Democrat, Fugly. Stop it. Neville Bartos, bloody Bartos, his full name. G'day, everyone. Lucas James, not Lucas Films. We've got Grimmick. Hey, mate, sitting in the guard house. Classic armoured ITs. Well done, mate. My second choice is armoured core. Well done. Ed B, the spanner. Fugly. We've got Bodie BMX. I couldn't even pop a mono on bloody BMX bikes. I was useless. I wish I could. Okay, June 8th, enlistment day creeping up for me. It's creeping up. That's a long way away. That's the coldest time of the year too, my friend. Timmy Doust, Lyndon Dutton, Drew Curtis, Lucas James. There we go. Okay, team, what is today about? Why am I streaming? I don't think I've ever streamed on a Saturday in my life. It's important that you understand that we have a super subscriber, a Patreon Legion member. We have someone who is one of our moderators. What do we call it? He's the aggregate, the building material. He is one of the foundations of this channel, and that's Mr. P. And what I thought I'd do is make a stream just for Mr. P, you're here. That's where we're coming from. You're not alone, etc. Mr. P is a lot older than me. He comes beard, you would call it in an Asian country, not so much in a Western one. But he's having some hard days. Medically, he's not doing too well at the moment. So what we're doing is we're creating something that is just for Mr. P. This is his gift. He's present. We're giving him a bit of our time. We don't have to talk about Mr. P. He wouldn't expect that. But what we are doing is going to communicate between each other to be able to give something, to be able to take away the pain of the day from Mr. P and allow him to understand how much he means to us, just like all of you do. One day it's going to be your turn, my turn, our turn. When things happen and our first world problems are taken over by medical issues, taken over by credit card theft, doppelgangers, so to speak, then I want to alleviate you of some of that pain and step in and make you feel like you ain't alone. So that's what we're doing today. So we don't have to talk about Mr. P. He just needs to know, here he is. He's okay, but he's going to tell you that. I think 51 is the year he's born, not his age. James Cave won't get offered officer roles on their U session. The weird thing about the Australian Army, let's address that right now. The predicament we are in right now, is because we have managers in leadership positions, people that have grandiose ideas of being a politician in their next life, so to speak. Those that only have to have moral courage while telling people that have to have physical courage what to do and how to do it. What do I mean by that? HR. The human resources of the military needs to be the buffer, the recruiting. It needs to say, no, this is not what we want. It has to be about capability. Otherwise, I'm putting Timmy Doust or Drew Curtis or AK in danger because they turned up prepared, but now they're being straddled, so to speak. That's cabin boy talk right there, by people to their left and right that don't deserve that job because either they're not capable of it, and that can sound like a rough word, deserve. But if you cannot hold the shield high, if you cannot stand the line, if you don't meet the minimum standard of the minimum standard, if you are not battlefield capable when the time comes for the rubber to meet the road, when the shots ring out, when you become the closest to whatever situation it is, then you should not be there. Don't deserve to be there. People's feelings do not come into it. That's civilian world. The government is a non-profit organisation, our military, but we are about capability and we join them, they don't join us. What I think they need to go back to is going back to you turn up to Kapuka, unless there's a specific skill that they actually require, and the positions that the Army needs filled, you fight for those positions, whether it's infantry, armoured corps, transport, signals, RAMI, engineers, medical corps, you name it. You don't get it guaranteed until you actually make it or you participate in a way that you would be an asset to that corps. Because a lot of people look the part. There's a lot of guys who have awesome tattoos but can't handle the cold, aren't as tough as they look. Their bark is worse than their bite, so to speak, and you can take over them. Lauren is shining. Lauren's creating some very macabre videos at the moment, mastering her trade, so to speak, and it's actually quite spooky. Well, I've been trying to help her with some of the ideas that freak me out, so she can amalgamate that with the ideas that freak her out. Male, female, meet in the center. Primal fears, and then from there make productions that keep people guessing and thinking, "Holy shit, that was entertaining." But I don't know if I want to look under my bed ever again. So another thing that's come up, and before we talk about some of the other first world issues, is right now, after putting out the video a few days ago about the enlistment for February, I've got to turn me back or turn my ears off to March, April, all that, because that'll be your turn soon enough. We only had one date that really seems to be jumping out to us, and the list at the moment is all about the 17th of February. We've got Kirky, and he's come from Adelaide, the home of single mums. We've got Harry Murphy. We know what we think about two first names there. It confuses the shit out of me. We've got Jason Onley, one of our long-term subscribers and super subscribers. We've got KX Max, KX Max from Queensland, and we've got James Carr from the ACT, the land of the bullshit that ends up sending us overseas in the first place. So all of those guys are going to be family soon. And I would say to you, meet each other in comments. You've only got a week to go before you're meeting up, getting shit haircuts together, right? And then from there becoming families. One of those guys, Kirky, Harry, Jason, KX Max, or James Carr, you may very well be beside each other in one room, in one section, and going, holy shit, it's like we've known each other forever. And here we are on our dream, on our calling, here to help each other as an extension of In the Trenches with Kaz, who created the space for us to find each other. It sounds like a beautiful song. Hey, Matt, man, how you going? Lauren Shine. Hey there, Neville Bartos, Bloody Bartos, his full name. What's worse, Kaz? Going through Kapuka whilst it's scorching hot or freezing cold? Cold is worse than hot every single time. Every single time. I'll explain. As an infantry sergeant, what happens is, it doesn't matter how hot you are. The worst thing that happens is you can have a headache. The worst thing that happens is you can't sleep. You can feel discomfort. But there's equity in it. Everyone feels hot. No one can sleep. Everyone's suffering. The thing is with cold is the people that are telling you what to do are rugged up in CPs while you are out or under hoochies, okay, if you're on the move. But you are out, no jumper, no raincoat, ever. You have to be out in that cold. Although it may seem like it's not too bad to everyone else, when you're waterlogged, you're waterlogged. And after that, the cold sets into your bone cold, and you can't get away from it. When you are cold, it is agony. Your fingers stop moving. It's a reason why commandos do a lot of their watermanship around winter as well, I believe, so they can see attitudinally through the activity, what you're like. We need stresses to break you down to see who you truly are. That can be lack of sleep. It can be discomfort. And cold is the best way. You can have a stiff upper lip in heat. You can't have it in cold. Eventually, everyone breaks. I'd love to see what Ed thinks on that. I think hot sucks. I'd rather the cold. Yeah, but Ed, you were always a vehicle guy, mate. You probably sat there with mittens on and all that sort of shit, and you've done a lot of time in Iraq. But, man, when you feel like you're drowning in places like East Timor, etc., Darwin, being in one of the hottest countries on earth where the humidity is going through the roof, and then you're wearing 10 times more clothing and equipment than anyone else around, that heat sucks. But I tell you, when it's cold, in high range, -2, getting ready for an ambush, and that's in Townsville, and the rain is there, that is the worst thing on earth. The worst thing. Some of you guys are going to know that real soon. These 5 guys, when they're on the drill square, when they are bloody soaked to the bone, the job just doesn't stop because you're cold or because you're hot. But hot isn't painful. Cold is. James Carr, I'm way too bloody keen to get to Pookie. It is the weirdest feeling, that that sensation, that separation anxiety that goes through your system, where it makes you almost impossible to live with, isn't it? Hope you're feeling okay at the moment, Mr. P. We've got a bit of a good turnout here for you. JC's up there with his one-handed clap. Hope the arm's going well there, mate. Stickman. When it's wet, cold, and the mosquitoes are still somehow active while you're sick, it is a real weird one, that. But the mosquitoes tend to piss off when it's cold. JC, hit tip for those that don't want to be cold, join the chair force. Yep, go to the Air Force. Go to the Air Force or the Navy. When I talk about being exposed to the cold, team, hey, Keith Brennan. Brenno's done some very cold times with me and some very hot times with me. All the best to you and your lovely family, mate. We served in the same platoon together. Good on you, buddy. Joy, Danger Zone, Joseph Barker. How you going, Hannibal? Eventually defeated by Rome and your own country's politicians, Donald Trump. Yeah, no matter what you do, some people just don't appreciate it, do they? Mr. Buckaroony, how you going, you North Queensland YouTuber who's given so much time to the country that you deserve a break. Come down and be my camera guy while I be yours. Jerry Maguire. G'day, Kaz. Checking in from work, mate. Flat out like a lizard drinking. Paddy Irish says, g'day. G'day, Paddy. How you going, mate? Have you put on weight or have you lost some there, brother? I'd love to buy Paddy a bloody coffee and sit down and see how his life's gone since I saw him last, actually. Lovely bloke. Keith. Sup, Caswell? I still miss the dim sims, mate, from the canteen after PT, buddy. Drew Curtis. Okay. So, guys, a lot's happening in the world at the moment. We've seen Kirk Douglas, one of my favourite actors, I Am Spartacus, pass away. He was a fantastic actor, really, really good. Loved him. And Michael Douglas, his sex fiend son, is pretty good too. Favourite movie of that is Naturally Falling Down. We've seen Kobe Bryant, succumb to maybe common sense and getting killed because they flew even when the weather chopper wouldn't go up or the police chopper. Something going on there. Mate, he's a gold medal winner from the Invictus Games. Well done, Mr. Buckaroony. Well done, Irish, Paddy Irish. What do you say? You must have an opinion on what's going on with Harry and where he should have swiped left on that old lady instead of going right and going to Canada and now being cut away from the best time to be in the UK, probably. What do you think of Sydney, mate? Good place to live. Richard Wilson, it depends what you want, mate. If you're a material girl, I would say yes, it'd be fantastic. If you want a rich husband, if you want to go out and just be surrounded by the internet and not live life to the fullest, I'd say Sydney's awesome. But if you like to get out, if you like to get away, if you want to be around nature, if you want to be around fair income people that aren't moving so fast, they don't have the opportunity to show, good manners, because they're hectic and they basically don't get a minute off on a 24-hour period, then I'd say Coffs Harbour, Port Macquarie, the north of New South Wales, I believe, is pretty much the best places in Australia. It just doesn't have the industry. And the schools too in Sydney can be fantastic. It's a bell curve, or they can be absolutely, I believe, damaging. It's like there's a HR department. So we need a certain amount of this, we need a certain amount of that, we need a certain amount of this at our school. And one of the things I'm finding as we get older and older is, what do they call it? That word. Cultures come together, multiculturalism. It ain't working. People are just staying in their cliques. They're not getting the chance to hold the cricket bat to become an Aussie. They come over and they're just the same version of what they were before, except that without the danger and more money in their pocket. It's a tough one. I just want my kid to have friends. That's all. Mr. P, it has been raining here for a few days and more to come in the forecast. There's a lot of rain. Integration, yep. What's the other word for it, JC? Where they come from another country, but they don't actually change their ways at all. If anything, they bring prejudices over. Accept all the good things, but not any of the manners, customs, and traditions of going to where the new place is. Assimilate is the word we're after, Richard Wilson. Are you the owner of the security firm? Mr. Buckaroony, September, mate, catch up in Newcastle for a night around the campfire. Sounds good. JC, it's called a load of shit. No one knows more about that than our 5-0, our police officers. Joy, what do you think of Holsworthy Barracks? It sucks. It's one of 3 options for my postings. No, you've heard what I say, mate. Unless you want to go there and specifically be there for working with 2 Commando, which would be a fantastic gig, I'd say go to Townsville, and then the world's your oyster. You've got so many units that you'll be assisting with. All right? I reckon Townsville's a fantastic place for aviation. You've got double glazed windows, the best air conditioning in the Southern Hemisphere. You won't regret it. Kane's joining up. Yep. Lachlan Schubert, how's it going, mate? Pretty good. It's going pretty good. We're on here today to try and throw the bone to Mr. P, make him feel a little bit better. He's in the wars at the moment. He's on more drugs than River Phoenix, but it hasn't killed him. And we're creating this on a Saturday. It's pissing down outside to be able to basically make a distraction for the big fella for the big lion with the grey mane. Richard Wilson, I just got out of the RAF after 10 years and moved up to Darwin. That doesn't make sense. You could have been to Darwin. Oh, you got out in probably Darwin? That's one of the hottest places on earth, going troppo, even in winter. Ed B, I trained at Holsworthy when 5'7" was there in 1998. Didn't you go to Darwin as well, Ed? Hannibal came back from a bush bash with the old man. What did was that the four-wheel driving, shooting? Yeah, Mr. Buckrunning, Mr. P's got the clock on us. He's he's a real weirdo when it comes to the facial hair and also that of clocking on with the time. Don't ever be late. Canungra, Ed B went to. That place sucks. Nothing good about that. Good training area, but just hot, hilly, marsh flies, sucks. Fugly, Kaz, I can't find any info on the net. Are there any programs or benefits in place for diggers to get an education while serving? Look, there is the education wing that you can go through in the military, but more often than not, you'll actually go through all of that in your own time. You will fund that in your own time, but you can get little grants that are thrown your way. And naturally, the longer you're in, the more of that will open up to you. But otherwise, people tend to take care of it with their own money, mate. There's plenty of people in the military that are also doing degrees by correspondence and all that sort of stuff. Lucas James, don't make any of those plans, but none of them until you get in. Otherwise, you've just wasted your money. Because you might be so encompassed by the requirements of you to, one, fit in the platoon, and two, you're going to change when you get into the army. You will change in subtle ways or major ways. The way you think, the way you look at life, how simple life can be. There might be a cynical side come to you. You might completely create opportunities to open doors you never thought existed. Or there might be doors that you thought about going through and bam, slam them shut and say, thank God I didn't. I read a terrific message today, and it actually made me quite sad a little bit. And it was a gentleman who applied for the military for years and years and years. And I'm going to quickly cover that now. So what he said was, wait a sec, put some light on the subject. Nah, made no difference. My eyes are screwed. Kaz, I've been this is another one. Kaz, I've been a bloody idiot, missed 2 U sessions, and both of those times I didn't call up and explain myself. Though I have a valid reason for missing the second session, that won't cut it. I've asked people about missing your U sessions and gotten mixed responses, but it's just been eating me up inside because I'm leaning toward the bad answers. Well, let me tell you, there's only going to be bad answers, and I'm not here to pull your chain when you're here for the channel team. I'll tell you now, if you have a U session and you don't turn up for it and then you don't ring up and say why, never reapply. If you've done it twice, never reapply. The Army does not want you, and neither do the people that work in there. You know, we are people that measure everything on timings, administrationally, being ready as well as physically. There is something about you as an individual that if you can not turn up to supposedly 2 dream job opportunities that you were the one that organised, and then don't turn up and then don't communicate and say, this is still my dream job. That ain't your dream job, mate. You know? Or there's something wrong with your psyche. I'm not here to give you the good news when it's not coming. You know, that's not fair. I tell you, I'm honest, and I believe at the moment that is exactly the way they will treat it in the military. We are expected to turn up normally half an hour before a timing, with the military. You turn up, you catch up, etc. You get into a routine, but you're always early. To be even a minute early, people are looking at their watch going, you just goddamn made it. And we don't accept excuses, team. You can't even say, I'm sick, I'm not coming to work. No matter what is wrong with you, if you're not in hospital, you can be vomiting and they'll still expect you to drive and be there on time, not sleeping through alarm clocks, and then they'll tell you, okay, go to the hospital. Okay, then go to the RAP, the Regimental Aid Post. You will not get the same sympathy violins that you get within the civilian sectors of the world. You won't. Mr. Bryce is here. How are you feeling there too, buddy? How you going? Where is he? Jason, I got horribly sick at Canungra Tavern and was stuck in a room in Dincy and couldn't get out, so hungover. Mike Ledger's got to go. That's fine, mate. That's fine. Just come and go as you please. I shocked you today. Hi, Cass and team. Sorry I'm late. It was an ambush, mate. You've turned up. Well done. Good to have you here. Hope you feel that you can like the stream, and hopefully you think of subscribing if you haven't already. And one of our things is, if you are here for the first time and you've just subscribed to the channel, we've got a lot of new people, then put a thumbs up so we know you're new, so we can throw some attention at you, so we can ask you, what makes you tick? Tock. Tick. Tock. We'd like to know. We're family here. Keith, maybe him, Dale Arden, and Professor Zarkov were kidnapped by Ming the Merciless and had to fight the Hawkmen before saving the universe. I've used that one before. Guys and gals, it doesn't mean that we are not, what do you call it? It doesn't mean we're heartless bastards. I have seen and Keith is going to laugh at this, I've walked into rooms, I've seen every excuse, I've heard every excuse, and I never charged a soldier during my entire military career. But I did give them penalties, which some people would call punishments. But I shared that with you, and I did those with you. Yeah. I've walked in on naked men in rooms with other naked men, and they're like, we were both just getting changed. I've walked in on two dudes in a bed watching equivalent of Netflix videos while everyone else was going out, and you're like, what's going on here? Yeah. I've seen people with females not locked, that'd be entrapment, inside their lockers when I've gone in to inspect their room in the morning, and it's mysteriously stunk of nature. And then out of curiosity, open a sliding door and there's a lady there. Hello? We have a laugh. We do. And we do stick out for people. And we don't kick your ass, but we do expect you to be on time. 134 Brother Music. Yeah, Kaz, just found your channel. Great to have you here, mate. Can't join the army because I have flat feet and a disability. But your channel is awesome all the same. Thanks, mate. I've got a cornhole injury. I've got a disease, a lower bowel. I've also got PTSD for those that feel like the world is crashing in upon them sometimes. And one of the things we like to do with this channel is show people that within your capabilities, you need to find something. You need to keep rolling forward, whether it's for you, whether it's for your family, whether it's for your children, whether it's for your friends. You just keep rolling forward. Always make sure I clean the pipes before I come in here. But even having like irritable bowel syndrome my whole life, well, for the last 20 years that I got from East Timor, it stinks like a dinosaur's graveyard when I go to the toilet. But I just tell people, barley belly. And you hear people in the public toilets laughing and stuff. But I don't always see it as negative. I've never felt more alive than when I look for the white guy on the green background toilet. See you soon. We've got to stop crying. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start living life, having a good time. Mr. Bryce, regarding being late, if you're not at work on time, 10 minutes early, then you're bloody late. If you're sick, they'll send you to the RAP if necessary. Exactly right. And we have a military justice system where you can get charged, lose an entire weekend for being 5 minutes late. Yeah. Has to be an Aussie citizen, Julia. I'm not sure what was that about. Where's lovely Julia's question? Can New Zealand citizens join if they live in Australia? Julia, you can, but you need to be in the process of becoming an Australian citizen. You can't join the army and remain being a dual citizen, New Zealand citizen. Oh, you can be a dual citizen, but a New Zealand citizen all the same. I've done a hell of a lot of work with the Kiwi Army, mainly the 2nd 1st Battalion, the Royal New Zealand Infantry down on the South Island. And one of the things that I think we should do, because we have an Anzac Battalion in name, is I believe that we should, but we can't because of economic reasons, because they feed into the cities down Christchurch, etc., from Burnham Camp, is I would love to see a composite unit that is an infantry battalion with several infantry New Zealand companies, mixed with Australian companies and their assets as well, that allow the Anzacs to be more than just a name. It's actually a way of working together, where the Kiwis get that can retain their customs and traditions, but they also get the pay and conditions that come with being with the Australians. Because I tell you what, there is some big differences between Australia and New Zealand. I tell you now, Keith, Kiwis can join, but it is a process. I have a Choco digger recently. It was a nightmare getting security clearance. It's very similar to doing a lateral transfer for the people from the UK. It can really suck. It can be difficult, but once it's achieved, there's schemes just for it, but they're mostly from the UK. Joseph Barker, Kaz, did you hear about that DVA stuff where the parents were complaining about the ADF killed their son? I don't know about that one, Mr. Barker. Maybe I should investigate it, bud. Mr. Barker, really great idea, Kaz, Anzac Battalion. I'd also like to see an Indigenous battalion. You wouldn't get the people. You wouldn't get enough, and they can't even fill places like 51. They can't, and Norforce, etc. I don't know what capability it would offer, mate. CBT Crusader. Hello, Kaz. I'm going in for my U session in a couple of days. And I'm terrified of completely bombing on the aptitude test. I don't know how I passed it. Bucko, how did guys like you and me pass the U session? Oh, we didn't have a U session, but aptitude tests. At least you're a problem solver. You're a cluey guy. I reckon I got through by the skin of my teeth. And that takes me to the message. I can't remember who it was, but the comment that I got today was when I was answering comments this morning, was a bloke that was letting me know that he'd applied for years and years and years to join the army, and kept getting knocked back when it came to the psychology component of the entrance exams, etc. But he would always make it physically. And then the very last one, he didn't make it physically after he'd passed everything and thought, this is my white whale. I've made it through. Oh, yeah. He's Moby Dick. But then they said after he had a bit of a coughing fit, they'd check you out and it was an asthma attack, and they said never come back. And it really scares me that what would have happened to me if I hadn't have passed my enlistment opportunity to join the Australian Army, the best small army in the world. I tell you now, it would have killed me. I've been in the army my entire life. I grew up in army villages around Townsville, around Brisbane, around Holsworthy. Yeah, with my father's uniform, every day of my life was in the cupboard, not a sailor. And then I overlapped with his career from Army Reserve over to regular Army, from Corps Enlisted to OPSIGs at Kabbalah, electronic warfare, and said, you can have that, swipe left. I want to go to infantry, to my dad's, what the hell are you doing, boy? You're going to get bashed. Yeah, well, that happened too a couple of times. And I went over to infantry, and my life has been a peach. It has been up, down, but there's just been distances in between the troughs. But all of it has been good for me. Even the bad stuff has been good for me. And here I am now, surrounding myself with you guys and gals. Tomorrow, Nancy Pelosi, annual salary, $223,000. I hope she's been saving money. She's not going to get that for much longer. Here I am surrounding myself with you guys and gals. So hopefully it allows me to live in years to come. When I run into you, go, hey, Kaz, it's exactly right what you said. Yeah, there's some dickheads. And for some reason, the dickheads always have a louder voice, don't they? Some of the trolls that we have brought into this channel, we having a hard time? Buffering? Some of the people that we've brought into this channel that have come with it since it's taken off again, we've got nearly 90,000 views, team, in the last bloody 4 weeks or so. It's been fantastic. G'day, Misty Ninja. Bye-bye, Lauren. Bye-bye. We're only going to be on for a little bit longer anyway. There's some real trolls saying some really weird shit, and they don't sound like they're people that have ever been in the military, but they're claiming to be an expert on all of the above. I just don't understand it. Ed B would have seen a lot of that. Keith Brennan has seen a lot of that. Bye-bye, Lauren. Straight at you. Exo Challenge, take care. Yep. I just don't know where it comes from, where someone will go into the channel of a subject matter expert. I'm not necessarily talking about me. They're talking about everyone, attacking the people inside the channel, etc. I just don't get it. I don't. Julia, is Kapuka really that bad? It is. Julia, it is. Now, it's got nothing to do with the training. It's got nothing to do with the human dynamics necessarily. It's got to do with being, and the further we go in the future, the harder place like Kapuka get. It is designed to be slap in the face. It is designed to be a shock of capture, a rewriting of your way of thinking. You've come to them, so it's not brainwashing. It is, what do I call it? It is to teach you instinctive command, that you don't get to roll your voice. You don't get to fold your arms. You don't get to put your hands in your pockets. It is a rewiring of your system to that of the team member with the denial of the comforts that you have in civilian life. It's the fact that you just don't get any time to yourself unless you're sitting on the shithouse. Yeah? It is the fact that, do you know what it's like to work 3 months in a row without a day off? That is really, really hard to get your head around. And I tell you, it just gets on your nerves. There's always something. As you're having a hard time with this, well, guess what? This is coming up tomorrow. And all of this time, there is the threat of back squatting. And you'll see that all the time. The people you like may not be very good soldiers. And when they get see you later, RTO, okay, when they get pissed off to the platoon behind because they couldn't keep up with the speed of learning, that can be a real moral hit too. And you realize there's teeth behind the testing that you can have to go back and then prolong that situation over and over and over again. Every day, waking up rudely. When you wake up, it is normally a fluorescent light, someone saying something like hallway 11, that loud, because you're not allowed to get out of bed before that. Between 10 and 6 in the morning, you're not allowed to get out of bed. Unless you go to the toilet, then straight back again. There's no freedom. You can't go and get a Coke. You can't go and get a coffee. You're in bed. And then you wake up, hallway 11, hallway 11! And then everyone gets up, runs outside with their sheets completely ripped off their bed, over their shoulders, looking straight ahead, ready to sound off. And that is every single day. Everything is rushed. Everything has a reason. When they speak, they expect an instant response. Not a question, not a query, just results. Some people just can't handle it. And sometimes you're not getting the help from home too, and that can be catastrophic as well. Hey, Kaz, just wanted to say thanks for the vids. That's no problems, mate. Sharat, Tyre, where are you from, my man? Looking to join ADF in the future, so I appreciate all the efforts with the channel. Mate, I'm not sure what your background is, but it led me to a fantastic comment that I got from a soldier in one of the videos. There was an Islamic soldier who was saying to me he wanted to join the military, but he's nervous about joining the Australian military because he doesn't know what sort of flack he's going to get being Islamic. Well, I explained to him, mate, at the end of the day, who would I be more scared of if I was a militant, Islamic, fanatical individual than having other Muslims that are better trained in better teams, amalgamated with pride for a country, with better weapon systems, SOPs, hunting my ass down. I said, mate, you're more than happy. I'm more than happy to have people of every single religion, of every single background in my platoon using their strengths to get the common goal. But there has to be the physical capability. There has to be the ethos. There has to be the pride. There has to be the will to be the teammate. Then I don't care what religion you're from. And I learnt that from my Roman studies, where the only reason why the Christians had a hard time is because they said there's only one God. Because before that, they were going, hey, dude, just admit there's other gods and you don't have a problem, because we want one of you to be right, because we're all in the one army going in one direction. Not talking about the music there. We just had a light blowout. Where are we? We've got a casualty here. Okay. What else we got? Julia was saying that's what I'm trying to tell her now. She's scared to get caught. What? That's what I'm trying to tell her now. She's scared to get caught. Julia, who are we talking about? I thought we were talking about yourself there, mate. Good luck, Kane. Listen to exactly what Kaz says. Yeah, that's it. Mr. P, keep us on the clock. James Carr, Islamic, as in Muslim. Yes. Yep. I've had Muslim soldiers. My first subscriber to my first channel was the Islamic fella. He was a terrific guy. Ed B, diversity is what I loved about infantry. Green is green. That's it, man. If you heard infantry soldiers sitting there having a conversation amongst their platoon, you would swear they were misogynistic. Okay, probably are. A lot of them. Okay, you would swear that they are racist, sexist, assholes, this, but every single soldier's got a smile on their face because they know the cut of your jib. There's no one of any colour, any gender, any background getting told, okay, you can't sit in the front seat of this, or I'm not going to be there with you, you can't do this. You get every opportunity, you know. Yeah. Leroy Majors, casualty. My knee results a vascular necrosis. I'm done, boys, I'd say. I'd ask if the gardening worked, but apparently the infantry have that locked down. We're not on deployment. I'm not sure where we're going with that one. Bailey. So, Kaz, might be subjugating myself a bit here, but looking to go into RAF. That's fine, dude. Go into whatever suits you, whatever suits you. Just don't ever say when you get there that you're better than Army. That's all. And don't get me wrong. If Joy gets in to helos or someone gets into fighter pilots, if someone is a fighter pilot of a Super Hornet or something like that and says to me, I'm better than you because I fly fighter jets, I'm going to look at him and go, I agree. You're better than me. Yeah, no dramas, not whatsoever. A lot of people better than me, I tell you. But I just believe that infantry is one of the few roles out of all of the systems, Army, Air Force, Navy, that have the most amount of people in one call sign with the most amount of mateship and the least amount to do. So it's fantastic. All tied together in a neat little bow called mateship, esprit de corps, honour. It's just a family. It's great. 20 years went like that. And then another 4 years after that, all the other way, it was good. Every single day had its own stories, comedy, frustrations, etc. It was great. It was awesome being a digger. It sucked being a 2IC. It was awesome being a section commander. It was bloody awesome, but sucked being a platoon sergeant. It was awesome being an instructor. When you're sitting beside someone on paper that you'll be calling sir for the rest of your military career, but you're just sharing a coffee or sitting down, and he actually means it when he says, can you please teach me something that I can't find in books? It tests you and you've got to know how to do it. And one of the things I used to say to junior commanders would be, if I cannot show you that, one, you are not ready to go to the battalion yet, straight from RMC, that this is an important step and I'm an important part of you getting to where you're going. If I can't do all that in the first 24 hours, then I shouldn't be an instructor here. When I first went to the School of Infantry Tactics and Leadership Division, platoon team, I was like, I'm in over my head. And I was initially. But through effort and through being through around Mike Elliott, by being around Julian Chavez, I'm talking about American Special Forces here, by being around, there was so many Americans, British, New Zealand, Australians that were all going for the same outcome, and that's the best possible officer that you could produce, understanding that I can work as much as I want on Lachlan Schubert. Okay, but that doesn't matter if he's the private soldier, because you have a set job. It's the person that influences 30 at a time. I get more bang for my buck. If I have him walk away going, you know what? I trust my platoon sergeant. I need a platoon sergeant. I can actually free up my brain, from tactical and administrational dilemmas if I use him correctly. If I give out responsibility to him, etc. And that's how you get a call sign to work real bloody well, when we're all on one sheet of music. Mr. Bryce, I love fast jets, especially when doing a show of force to scare the shit out of the Taliban. I'm spewing on never made it to Afghanistan because of my broken cornhole. Jared Kiss, cool name. Good band. Hi, Kaz. Just had my U session and I unlocked all the jobs. You're smarter than me, sir. They recommended me for communication systems operator. What do you reckon about that role? The Signals Corps is one of the best corps in the Australian Army. It's part of the C3, the Command, Control and Communications, and it is vital. And the technology is, what would you call it? It is so evolved compared to what it used to be, but it is also a role that is about small teams, whether you're in a debt of one or two people or two or three people attached to a vehicle, etc. And that can feel a little bit cabin fever for some. Also, you've got the bell curve of some people that are absolutely pansies, feminine in their capability physically, but other people that you go, holy shit, that's a tough bastard to be in Signals. So you've got the best of both worlds, all these different personalities making the estuary where the salt water meets the fresh. It's a confusing core that has so much opportunity, but it'd almost be a number one choice. If I was saying to a female soldier, I would say Signals is the best corps for female soldiers. It is. You're not going to get in the fights. That's not why you go to Signals. You're not an arms corps. You're a Signals corps. Your communications. You are vital as one of the commanders' keys to success. And you'll love it. The postings are great. The pay and conditions are great. The technology is awesome. You won't walk anywhere. And the people are good too. Okay, Drew Curtis says, hey, Kaz, what's the rules for leaving base on the weekend at Singleton? You can't drink at all in Singleton. You can go around the shopping centres, etc., but there's curfews. You need to be back by 10 o'clock at night if you stay in the Singleton area. If you leave the Singleton area, then you can go down to Newcastle. Encourage you to do so. You're not allowed to go to the wineries, but you can go all the way down to Newcastle, hang out at a hotel room with your buddies, go to the beach having cups of coffee, looking at beautiful women, going for a surf if you want, in a hotel room packed with 20 people while saying someone's staying there alone. That's great, but you can get in trouble too. And you have to be back by 10 o'clock at night on Sunday. And that's to get ready for what could be the biggest day of your 3-month course on the Monday. So there's enough rope there to hang yourself for sure. Eddie says, funny, I just got another 2 Morse code keys in the mail today. Yeah! Morse code, I'm qualified at it. I'm qualified Morse code guy, but nothing sends you crazier than that total concentration. Did it, and it's very Navy in delivery. Okay, the dit, okay, you hold the button, dit. To do the da or the dash, you don't go like that and hold it down. All you do is drop your wrist. Dit da dit, dit dit da dit. It's a really weird thing, and you feel like you can't catch a ball once you've been qualified in that. I did 19 years in signal units. Great corps to be in, folks. I told you, Mr. Buckarooney's smarter than what we realised. Stickman, remember recruiting incentivised to promote certain roles, not so much to recommend a good fit. Well, that's why they say about Army's needs come first, but that's not what they're doing. They're saying Army needs, but at the same time allowing someone that hasn't been tested in any role militarily to then be given a contract that they get to keep. I reckon you get the contract, at the end of your stint of 3 months at Kapuka, where they say, okay, Keith Brennan, you were fit, great team member, you were physically mentally tough. You're awesome across the board. Where do you want to go? Well, I want to go to chefs or cooks. No, mate, that's a waste of your talent. Infantry. Same deal. If you underperform, then you don't want to underperform or go into an arms corps. You don't, because that is a cruel thing to hand to someone, where it's almost like going to jail when you go to infantry. Your physicality, your teamwork, your toughness, is fine. You're not going to get into physical dramas, I wouldn't imagine, going to signals, going to transport, etc. Although transport always try to represent that they're tougher than what they are. They're truck drivers. Let's face it. Eat a sausage roll, have a pie, chocolate milk, got it. But to send someone that is not prepared to infantry, and if they're not fit, or they're just fit enough to get there, and then you've got 8 other guys who are getting their ass kicked daily because this person's too slow, then it doesn't go well for that person. And that's not army bastardization. That'll happen on a work site. That will happen in civilian sectors everywhere. When you get people in the shit because you are the slowest person on the ground, it doesn't go well for you. Mr. Buccarini says, I don't think radio operators do Morse anymore. Oh, no, I don't think they do. HF is a thing of the past. What it used to be great for, Bucko, and they explained to us, was when the distortion is coming through the radio set. The reason why they used to use Morse code, the same reason why we use whistles in infantry, is because it cuts through the din of battle. It gets through the, the interference. Mr. Buck, I belong to a group that Ed's part of a Morse code club. He's going backwards. Benjamin Button. Garlic bread. What a cruel name to have. Now everyone will be thinking about it. G'day, Kaz. Glad to see you before work. What do you do, garlic bread? You beautiful entree. Team, put a thumbs down if this is your first time here. If this is your first time here, we're gonna look straight at your questions. Yep. Game Brain 727. I'm planning on going to the army at the end of this year, or when I turn 17. I want to go to infantry. Game Brain, what I thoroughly recommend to you, mate, we'll be with you in a second, Bailey, and you too, Julia. Great to have you here. Let this be your Kentucky tour of fun, and don't feel like there's any filter on what you have to do. You just come here and speak the way you speak. You're welcome. Game Brain, 17 is too young to join infantry. You need to wait for your body to be able to warm up, your scaffolding to build itself. I don't know who you are or what you look like, mate. You might be one of those people that's just a diamond in the rough. I don't know. But what I would say to you is that 17 is categorically too young. I've instructed them. I've commanded them. There is no advantage to anyone. This is just you rushing the system. Do it right. Take your time, and you'll be laughing. Set yourself up for success. Yep. And the worst thing is 17, if they see any sign of stress at Kapuka, which there's always going to be stress, what they can do is end up kicking you back to your family, because you need parents' consent to even be there at 17, because you're not classed as an adult. So be careful with that one, mate. You can set yourself up for a fall. Bailey, let us know a question you'd like to talk about. Julia, let us know a question you'd like to talk about. You're very welcome here. James Carr, all these crusties saying that Singo is soft. It's not soft. There's no soft way of doing Singo. Times change. Get your hand off it. We are still trained well. Compare us to the Marine and you'll see we are far more advanced. Okay, James, wait till you get there first, mate. You're not there yet. Don't tell people what the Army's like before you're there, okay? But I will tell you, there is no easy way of doing the School of Infantry, whether that be the US, whether that be UK, whether it be New Zealand, whether it be Australia. It's tough. It's tough. But the weird thing about it is so deliberate. There's no reason for us to necessarily yell. Each week on the program, we let you know what's coming up and let that play with your brain by itself. But in between that, you can go and have a cup of coffee. But the expectations after Kapuka get higher and higher, and the excuses for bad behavior or failing ceases to exist. Yeah, I know that, Kane. Awesome. Where'd garlic bread work? I work at the fish and chip shop. Oh, Neil, I'm double hungry. Julia, who should I contact to let someone know about my friend that's Acapulco who has epilepsy? She won't listen to me and come back before she gets caught. Julia, let her get caught. That's what I'd say. If you lie to the system about a medical condition and it turns out that you've got it, that's fraudulent. Okay, that is cooking the book, so to speak. Maybe she never has an epileptic fit ever. Okay, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a wonder they didn't find that, because normally that would be on your records if you were diagnosed with epilepsy. Is she family? Is she Julia? Flinny, hey, Kaz, do you have any pets? No, but I want a dog. You know what? I'd have a cat. You know, wouldn't worry me. I love all animals, mate. More and more as I get older too. Game brain saying, okay, thanks. I'm pretty skinny and I have small muscles. That doesn't not mean you're not capable, but I need to build up, and I'm pretty fit though. You train a lot of AFL. Hey, Madison, how you doing? There's a big difference between being fit, AFL fit, etc., you know, which also teaches you second half and third quarter, fourth quarter fitness. So you get that. But when you're a skinny kid and you've got to put that pack on, pick that Mag 58 up with the ammunition, 800 rounds, tripod, you know, for the Mag 58, etc., that's when you can only do what you can do. You know, so just let your body beef up a bit and you'll be okay. Madison, I just got on as I just got home. I got my license, Cass. Oh, shit. Madison, that's why they have reverse cameras. Awesome. You always get in more trouble once you get your license, don't you? They don't give it to you so you got something to lose. What do we got? Mr. Buccarini. Hey, Ed B, you have an GRC 106HF set at home, do you? Okay. Hannibal, is that the same for me, Kaz? You know my age. I'm going in as infantry reservist, which is completely different army. Look, it is completely different, Hannibal, going into Army Reserve. The expectations, the responsibilities, but are still there during training. And you still have to be able to carry all equipment that you're asked to carry. Sorry, Patreon phone's going crazy. If it says no caller ID, I will never answer it, team. Just the hot tip. You know, you should never, there is never a reason to answer a phone with no caller ID. You know, that's someone who doesn't want you to know who they are. So they're not ringing to say you're a good guy. They're ringing to be a dick. Got a Rafa dog, Kaz. Death by Vlog got a brand new dog. Fantastic. Got a Rafa dog. No, I don't. It's one of the official pug of the channel. No pugs here either, Fugly. Stickman. Chocos do condensed versions, less quality control, but they still learn what's required. That's true. Jared Kiss. Good name in the month of Valentine's Day too. Don't worry about small muscles, mate. I'm still skinny, but in the last year I doubled the width of my arms, train hard, eat well, and all be well. You just put it on through working hard. And there's people that have got crazy amounts of actual strength, you know, that crazy strength, that wiry toughness. So you'll be right. Jared. Yep, Ed B, his son wants to go to the military, but at the moment they just need to put some more beef on. Okay, it happens. I was 58 kilos. You've heard me say it ad nauseum 100 times. Yeah. It just makes life is harder, but it also compensates in different ways, that when it comes to moving your body, that you feel like you're carrying nothing. And, you know, rhythm is a dancer. Mr. P, 60 minutes, get off. We're here for you, and you're telling us to get off. Have your medication and I'll shave my chin. Deal. Mr. Buckrani, call your dog Claymore. Not bad. I'm actually drifting a lot away from military stuff, mate. I barely ever watch anything to do with military now because, again, like I say, for 50 years, all I did was watch every documentary. You know, when I get spare time, I'm at the Australian War Memorial. Every single day, I'm speaking to soldiers at some point in the morning and the afternoon. So when I get an opportunity now, when I really want to relax, okay, it's nap time, Mr. P, Feel free to go. Nutsukau, sir. What happens is I tend to watch videos on either politics or I watch videos on salmon or tuna getting sliced up by master sushi people from chefs from Japan. Julia, what's your schedule at Kapuka? The times for breakfast, showers and stuff. The shower you'll have the second after you wake up, Julia, once you run out with your bed sheets over your head. You just throw that on there. You go out. You got 15 minutes to shave, for women to get their hair up in place. It used to be if you can't get your hair up into a bun at a certain amount of time, they could cut that off. They would cut the woman's hair off. You've got to put two beds together and you've got to be dressed, ready to go with the equipment of the day outside the door, all of that in 15 minutes for two people. If one person is not ready, both of you are in the shit, and then from there it goes downhill. Zach, quick, Zach. Hey, Kaz, new here. Great to have you here, mate. Hope you subscribe and tick the bell so we can be here to answer your questions going into the future. This is the Australian channel, the global channel. We're hoping to get 1 billion people by the end of next week. May not happen. Process, Kaz here. I'm in the process of joining, done my U session, etc. My two preferences are infantry and armoured crewmen. I'm 19 years old. Perfect, mate. Perfect. The hardest thing for you is simply going to be that there is a massive line to go into infantry and cav. A massive line. So therefore, okay, it's not the best time to join. Get your application in. Do it as quickly as you can. Apply to the first dates they can give you. Keep yourself out of the shit. No tattoos on your face. Don't get someone pregnant. All right? But also don't lose your job. Don't quit what academics you're doing until you get that actual date to go in, mate, and you'll be fine. Claymore Digger. Hey, Kaz, I've got my son and sight of his mates. I've got my son and 8 of his mates here from the School of Infantry. Have a weekend off. They are a great bunch of boys and are having a great time. So good to see. Claymore Digger has got this whole section there. You listen to those guys trying to talk the wise man. You be the smarter guy, mate. And you watch them when they come home tonight, because it's Saturday, which means they're going to be on the razoo or they're going to be drinking at home, tindering like crazy, trying to get some home delivery. Be careful, lads. Remember, you've got Monday. Start having competitions between yourselves in PT. Who can do the least of this buys the first carton on Friday or Saturday. It doesn't have to be about alcohol. Maybe you put an extra $20 or you've got to sit in the front for the taxi. But put a pain penalty to everything in the military, males and females, and that makes competitive juices flare and you'll have a better time. Madison, as I've got my license now, Kaz, I have a practice PFA coming up in a week. Are you good to go? Make sure you hit those male standards, Madison. I know you can do it. The reason is you don't want people thinking about pushing you into that lady groove. You don't want the guys that have to achieve this while you have to achieve that. You want them to be able to see you at least the 15 with the push-ups. So they're going, she would have qualified as a male. No worries. Good to have you here. Yep. No dramas. I'm looking forward to hearing how you go. I really am. Talking about how we're going, we've got Dave D here who done his OSB officer selection board today. Let's hear how he went. Good timing, sir. You're on the stream, mate.
Hey, how are you, mate?
Very good. How did you go?
I got a pass.
So do I have to? Am I supposed to call you sir now, or what?
Not quite yet. I still haven't got my letter of offer appointment day, so I'm still a regular dirty old civilian. At the moment.
And how wet was it there today?
It turned out to be not wet. It turned out to be incredibly muggy. So the PFA portion was an absolute sweat fest.
But did you feel guilty about it? Did you feel guilty? Was it the same as the last time you did it?
No, yeah, it was the same. The day was very similar, but they moved the outdoor activities indoors. So normally they're out in some sort of an outdoor area, but they were worried about the rain, so they moved everything indoors. So
let me just press pause here for a second. What sort of signal does that send to people when they want you for officer selection to show what you have in whatever corps you go to, that rain had an effect on mission when the first thing they're going to say to you when you go to train in uniform, it's only rain. Or you're going to be telling the men, go out there, get low, get wet, get into it.
Yep.
I think they should have, that would have been a perfect tool to go, get your ass out there.
Get out
there. And if you see someone that's a bit squeamish, what? You're the one that's asking for this, bro. It's just not a good message.
You know what? Every one of the candidates all said, we would have done it in the rain.
That's right.
So, yeah, it turned out to be interesting. But, yeah, good bunch of people. Like, that is so awesome when you always sort of like, I wonder who the other personalities are going to be. Is there going to be someone who's really dominant? Or is there going to be someone who's really quiet? And again, today, both OSBs I've done a really great bunch of people. So,
and personality goes a long way, especially with leaders, because you need to be able to communicate with each other politically as well as professionally, and be able to get the best out while leaving the egos at the door and knowing when to step back and let someone else talk, or to step forward and say, this is moral courage time. I can do a better version of you. Don't take an insult. Just let me make us both look good.
Yep. And it's like you've got to be able to question what someone's just said and say, I don't think that's right, without everyone getting all, it's just an objective. I think you said something, I don't agree with it. Can you give me some justification why you're correct? That kind of message, you've got to be able to do that, because you've got to get to the truth of, what's the truth, or what should we be doing? What's the best course of action, whatever. Without, like you say, without the egos getting in the way and people getting all cut up over silly things.
Just wait 2 seconds, mate. For everyone that doesn't know, this is Dave D. This is one of our moderators. He's going actually at the moment for officers, or we did go for officer selection board today. Madison, I just saw you've lost your dog, mate. I am so sorry. Robbie Kent lost his dog, and that was a big deal for us here. Hand on heart, mate. Nutsu Cow, your best friend has passed away, mate. Let us know what your doggy's name is, and I am sorry for you, because that's your worst day, when someone loses their pet. So without giving away a script, just give us a rough rundown how your day looked, Dave. What time did it start? What sort of activities?
I got to Gallipoli Barracks at Enoggera at about 6:45. They told us to be there at 7:20, so that meant I had to be there by 7, which meant I got there at 6:45. There was a couple of people late, and it was noted down, so don't be late. Basically, the first section of the day is almost like an orientation, a bit of a chat from the officer who is the board secretary, who chaperones you and makes sure everybody's in the right place at the right time. Told us a bit of a rundown on what will happen for the day, and then basically straight into it. So there's spoken activities, basically simple talk about yourself type activities, and there's other public speaking type activities where you're asked to speak on a topic with very little notice. I went today with a couple of items prepared as pre-prepared speeches in case they said speak on any topic. In my first OSB, that's what happened. They said pick a topic of your own and speak on it. So I'd pre-prepared a few things. I didn't get that opportunity today. They gave me a topic, and I had to speak on that for a couple of minutes. You then go through the physical side of it. You do some group activities where you have to solve problems and work together as a team. From there, we did the PFA, which in one sense, it's not an official PFA. So now that I've passed that PFA, I still have to go and pass another one. Luckily, not a problem.
I'll never understand that. I believe the pre-enlistment fitness assessment, you should be one crack, one opportunity, because like we say in the fitness video, you've had every time to be able to do it and turn up, and you have the chance when you turn up to a PFA, pre-enlistment fitness assessment, to be able to say, I'm not ready, I've been sick, I am injured, or whatever, and then they decide whether that's worthy or not. There should never be two. It gives that sense that it doesn't matter when it does.
Yeah, and like you said, it's an attitude test. It tests whether you've got the right attitude to have prepared yourself. And you only need to test someone's attitude once normally. But yeah, in the OSB, they use it as a benchmark against others. Who's prepared better, who's more physically, and part of it, I think they're assessing who is stopping when they're comfortable stopping because they've got past the pass mark, and who's pushing themselves to the absolute last bit of their strength. So luckily, I was able to help out the other guys and give them a few sort of tips and stuff. So everybody really put in well, and I think compared to my first OSB, this time I think everybody passed the PFA easily.
Well, that's good. The fear of failure should always drive in leadership positions for OSB. Absolutely no excuses. If someone fails, that should be never reapply again. Mate, I've got a question here for you. You're training now for officer selection, OSB. We've got one of our young lions here, just Arid. So I'm answering your question at the moment. Arid, we answered it earlier before you came on. Arid gave me a statement this morning and asked for some feedback on that. And that basically is Arid was booked in for a U session, and not only didn't he turn up, he didn't ring up and then say, hey, I'm not going to make it. But out of the grace of God, they allowed him to book a second one. And again, he didn't turn up to that and never told them that I'm not going to turn up. Now he's asking what could he possibly do to still get in the Army. And I've got to say this. I've got to say it honestly, straight down the barrel. I would not give you another opportunity ever again.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, you can beg, but you're at the mercy of their good grace. I mean,
your actions have already spoken for itself, mate. Honestly.
Yeah, you really need to, before you apply, you need to be serious about knowing what you're getting into and that you genuinely want to do it and you can commit to making everything and turning up every single time, turning up early. That's a tough one. I hesitate to tell anybody to give up because I've been through a pretty long road myself, but I think you've really got to show, somehow you've got to prove to them that this is your calling, and maybe there was some mitigating circumstances that you can talk about, but yeah, you've really got to show commitment. This is not a hobby, it's not a weekend thing, this is a calling and a career.
It is, and it sort of says with the stress of the enlistment process, that should be enough to make you meet timings, to be nervous, to be professionally prepared. If you can't do that, then what is it going to be like when there's no supervision? You can only have so many excuses. There is no excuses in the Army. What there is repercussions. You do something wrong, no one wants to hear the excuse because they can see the guy is dead on the ground. They can see wounded. They can see that we've been attacked. Why? Was someone asleep? Or we don't make this move that we've been told to achieve, and then it turns out that fitness has been allowed to lapse, etc. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big. A lot of people seem to have the idea that the Army will discipline you, but I think the reality is the Army will simply expect you to be very self-disciplined.
They will.
They won't hold your hand and take you places. You've got to be there when you're expected to be there.
Well, as a retired platoon sergeant talking to you, because there's no difference between Dave D being a one-day lieutenant or halfway through his training, COAC for captain, etc. And that is that a thing called implied tasks. I need that when Dave speaks to me as a platoon commander, as a platoon sergeant that's listening, then I get to read between those lines and I look at implied tasks and go, what does he not need to tell me, but I need to have done without being asked? And the more of that I can do to populate his tactical tree of what he needs to do, then the more trust he will have for me in the future. So I'll always overdo it at the start. The same as a platoon commander, when you ask a platoon sergeant, is there anything you would change about my plan? Even if you have 37 things that you'd like to change, if it's not in a training institution, then what I should give him is only three things, my top 3 things. Otherwise, I'm giving him tactical dilemmas. I'm actually stripping his plan down and doing more damage to his plan than what the enemy possibly could, making him question himself, and that will make him either pause or not trust his own plan, and that will make ineffective leadership.
Yep, and it also forces you, as the experienced platoon sergeant, to distill that plan into the 3 most critical factors that you see need to have more attention.
Lachlan just asked, am I on Grindr? No.
Unless it's the worst plan you've ever heard, in which case number one's probably let's have a chat about this plan. But yeah, there's definitely in most situations, in my civilian career as a manager, I try to do that with the experienced guys that are around me, and say, this is what I've laid out, what I think is going to happen, or what my plan is. What do you guys think? What can we fix in this to make it work? And generally they do the same thing. They'll come back with, hey, why don't we do this different? And why don't we do that different? And that's how that chemistry between the members who are responsible for leading that team is really critical.
Well, a platoon commander's best friend in an organisation is not a captain, it's not the other lieutenants, it is his platoon sergeant. That he becomes the only person that you can trust. If a platoon sergeant, and Ed B will attest to this, if you let down the platoon commander and he hears that you've been going behind his back, blah, 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 then you can lose him forever, and then you'll never be part of the plan. Then you might as well be a passenger in the journey, like the number 3 rifleman of the 4th section, 3rd section, weapons section. Baz Bradford is actually in Thailand watching this at the moment. How's that? That's awesome.
Yeah. How's the weather in Thailand?
Yeah, how is the weather in Thailand? No large waves individually breaking, I hope. Julia's just asked, what's something you've never forgotten about Kapuka? I would say, it'd have to be the wake-ups. Just the rude awakening, the sound of the fluorescent lights go, or when the timing OCD kicks in and you wake up and it's 5:58 and you've only got 2 minutes left of peace.
Yeah, most people I've spoken to said their hallway numbers are a thing they'll never forget.
Yeah, well, that's a great one. Hallway 11. Aussie Elbow World's 1990. I was in 1991. There you go. He hasn't been outside to see the weather. Mr. Buckaroony, I'm reading behind the between the lines there. Mr. Bryce, our local veteran, Hallway 1. How do you get back from that? That's awesome. Ed B says, Thailand, I wish it snowed here today. Okay, I wish. It snowed here today and my wife was doing snow angels. That's no way after domestic violence, okay, to make it sound cute. Ed's in Tennessee, team, and he wears a pistol everywhere he goes. I had some road rage on the phone talking to Ed B's wife today, and I would have loved to have been able to give some east side to one of the dickheads that tried to cut me off. Yeah, we got to go to Mr. Buckaroony. Bazzy Bradford, it's about 35 degrees. Get in the water, have the Mekong, mate. What we're going to do is we're going to let Dave D be the guy that closes us off today. Dave D, normally in blue, today in a suit. The OSB, Officer Selection Board, complete ticked for Mr. P. You're not alone. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe to the channel for the truth, for somewhere to be. Take it easy. Enjoy the rain, farmers and firefighters like Jack on Kangaroo Island. You're all welcome here. And now this is over to D, and he's going to close us out. Thank you too, Ed B. Let's go, Dave. It's up to you.
Okay. Guys, just follow that calling because, the rewards at the end of it are incredible. And all the answers can be found through Kaz and through the network of people we've got here. So there's always some great advice. You can take some and leave others, but there's people who've done it So, yeah, just get stuck in and enjoy this process. It's painful. It's long sometimes. But, and have a great week. And don't get too wet in the rain unless you're in the army, in which case you can go and get wet because that's part of life.
That's what she said. See you later. See you, Mr. P.
See you.
You're not alone.